What's going on, everybody? Once again, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Matthew, and this is Watty's channel. Today, we conclude the Mattel Retro Review. Now, as you guys already know, as Mattel comes out with new series, new figures down the line, yes, I will make those review videos at that time as well. And, of course, the playlist already exists, so you can always go back. If you missed a series, all of them can be found in that folder, so you'll be able to take a look at all 14 of the current reviews that are in that folder. Now, just prior to Series 14 being released by Mattel Creations, Series 14, aka Wave 4, Ringside Collectibles exclusives did release a pair of tag team sets. Now, in 14 series from Mattel Creations, we've only seen individual box sets with no tag teams. Now, with Ringside Collectibles and their exclusives, these figures are made by Mattel, but again, they are exclusive to Ringside Collectibles. At the time they came out, they hover around the same price tag you would get, your normal 4 figures from Mattel. Around $65, $70 price range. Of course, once those figures hit the open market or, third market like eBay and Mercari, suddenly you're getting guys like 123 Kid selling loose individually for around $30, $40, which makes absolutely no sense. And of course, as more and more people have acquired these figures, you go on Ringside Collectibles and the prices have dropped significantly. No longer $65. I think that now they're hovering probably around $45, $50 for the set of 4 figures. But if you are a Mattel Retro collector or a fan of the old 1990s vintage action figures, these are still figures you want to add to your collection. I like all the characters who are part of this release. That's a big thing. Oddly enough, if you include the 14 series from Mattel, the original, again, Mattel/Mattel Creations, and not the exclusive, you haven't had a single Hulk Hogan yet. Now, not until Ringside Collectibles released their figures on 2-pack. First package we're looking at are the Hulk Hogan, and they call him 6. To me, Sean Waltman will always be the 123 Kid. Simply put, in NWO, as a part of a member of the WCW roster, they're just building off that 123 Kid moniker. Adding up 1, 2, and 3. Bam, you got 6. SYXX. I kind of like the spelling of his name, but that's about as far as it goes. 123 Kid, or Sean Waltman in general, it's an interesting character as far as action figures go, because he has one of, if not the most expensive action figure for the entire Hasbro line. And even though this figure is not like crazy rare or anything right now, where is this going to be in 20 or 25 years? It's not a very beloved figure, just like a lot of the other jumpers we reviewed in the first 14 series. So, is he going to have that same sort of value? I don't think so. Not only because I don't covet the Mattel Retros the same way I did the Hasbros. I just think in this day and age, like for me, I kind of look at the 40-year-old virgin. So when was that? 2006, I want to say, when that movie came out. I was on my first deployment to Iraq, and, I saw that movie towards the end of my deployment. At that point, I never really thought of toys as, being valuable items. It's just something where you grew up, you threw them away, because, they basically hold no value for you. And in that movie, Steve Carell's character sold his Marvel collection or whatever it was. I think it was more than just Marvel, but and he ended up like 40 grand. So in 2010, when I got out of Fort Hood, when I got out of the Army, when I went back to Chicago, one of the first things I did was go knock on my mom's door and be like, where are my toys? So most definitely my old Power Ranger toys. I made sure to grab that trunk full of action figures that I had, and of course for from 2006 to, or let's say 2010, or whenever I did get that lot of figures. And I picked up a few action figures here and there as well to kind of add on to that, because I still knew I had those figures back at home in Chicago. So that was really my only main collection. As you guys already know, this right here would only last a couple of years. And again, in this day and age, I feel like everybody knows the value of action figures and certain collectibles. So this is something where everybody's buying two of something. They might be buying 3, 4, 5, etc. Why? Because they want one card for themselves. They probably want a loose figure for themselves, and they probably want to buy a bunch more that they can sell for a profit immediately. Neither one of these figures are ideal. We will start with Hulk Hogan. At first glance, this looks like an absolutely phenomenal action figure. Yeah, his arms look like, kind of like, what was it, Roman Reigns, I think we were looking at back in Series 1, where I said his arms kind of look like they were like Popeye, like just abnormally large. Doesn't really fit the rest of his body. But, Hulk Hogan, super muscular man. When I used to think strongmen or bodybuilders or whatever, as a kid, like Hulk Hogan was my go-to. Nowadays you think bodybuilders, who's the first person we all think of? Probably Arnold, right? So I don't mind the figure as a whole, but what completely defeats this figure from being a quality action figure is that stupid kicking feature once again. If the figure's like what was it, Jeff Hardy? I think he's absolutely horrible. That Jeff Hardy loose figure I have, you cannot keep that leg down whatsoever. At least a couple of these other figures, they can at least stay still. If you sit them down, they're not jumping up constantly. Other than that leg, this is a beautiful looking figure. Again, 13 releases from Mattel and Mattel Creations. It wasn't until the 14th Mattel release, which was the exclusives from Ringside Collectibles, and then another release, Series 14, Wave 4, Mattel Creations. So, like I said, all in all, you're at 15 releases from Mattel, and you only have one Hogan. That, to me, is so crazy to think about that. And you think about Hasbro, and you think about your first 3 series. There's always a Hulk Hogan. There's always an Ultimate Warrior. There's always a Macho Man. Ted DiBiase had the first 2 series. He had another figure later on in Series 9. Macho Man had another release in Series 5, as did Hogan. So you always want like your mega superstars at the forefront. Original San Francisco Toymakers, how many times did they create different colored trunks on Ric Flair or Harlem Heat? The Nasty Boys. Why? Because those are your biggest draws. I can understand, trying to release your superstars as much as possible. Hulk Hogan literally is the king of wrestling. I don't care what anybody ever says. If you see him in his old Japan wrestling days, the man actually used skill and technique as a wrestler in the ring. And for whatever reason, when he came to WWF, he was nothing more than a puncher and a back scratcher and a boot to the face type of guy. And it's kind of weird, kind of looking at the difference between Japan and American wrestling. Love the action figure from Hulk Hogan, but that stupid leg, man. I can't get over that. Sean Waltman's 6th character, like I said, they're just building off the 1, 2, 3 kid gimmick from WWF and just adding up the 3 numbers to create 6, aka his name in WCW. And again, for the NWO wrestlers, this is a phenomenal looking action figure. It is. Aesthetically, it is very pleasing. But a lot of these jumpers, they're just terrible in the sense that, and again, let's steer clear of the fused legs. It is not a preferable body type that any of us appreciate. We all know this. What do I complain about with this particular Mattel style jumpers? It's the way that the hands are just so close, so far in close to each other that it's just not. I couldn't imagine being a kid and trying to wrestle this. It's like trying to wrestle like this, or if you kind of see like the Random Treasures Abdul the Butcher, where one hand is like in super close to his chest. You know. I just couldn't. Yeah, I'm just goofing off right here, and I just can't get a good play out of this. Body slam is terrible. No. It's another character to add to the roster. Another figure to add to the collection. That's about it. The 1-2-3 Kid Hasbro figure, design-wise, again, is fantastic, but the pose is absolute trash. Ric Flair, Rick Rude, 1-2-3 Kid all had the same Hasbro pose. They were terrible. Rick Rude, again, is probably my least favorite figure from that line. The only reason I like 1-2-3 Kid is because of the whole blue 1-2-3 Kid, singlet color scheme that he had going on, which I really liked. But if it wasn't for the pose, it would be much worse. If it wasn't for the color scheme, it would be much better. Or other way around. Beautiful looking figure, but I don't know. In 20 or 30 years, carded or uncarded, am I going to see a Sean Waltman action figure from Mattel selling for $1,200 on card? I don't think so. So many people have this. I think it's just going to be so abundantly available in the future, even for decades down the road. Nowadays, everybody that wants these, they already have them. The next set of action figures we're looking at is Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. To me, they'll always just simply be Razor Ramon and Diesel. I don't refer to them by their names normally. I try to steer clear of that. I try to refer to them as how I knew them best. And that was as like your Scarface character-esque Razor Ramon character. And Diesel. So Diesel is only one of a few characters in this line, few wrestlers in this series, or in this line of action figures that actually has multiple figures. Sting has a couple, Macho Man has a couple, Kevin Owens has a couple, Diesel now with this release had a couple, etc. And whereas there were just countless action figures that had multiple figures in Hasbro, Mattel kind of steered clear with that. It's kind of good in the sense that you want to be able to add different wrestlers to your roster. LJN was really awesome at doing that. They only released the same character a few different times. You don't want to keep, having a Hulk Hogan figure every series because it kind of makes your other figures obsolete. Or, hey, if you're a parent, my kid has a Hulk Hogan action figure. Why do I need to buy him another Hulk Hogan action figure? And the kid's mindset is the same thing. I have a Hogan, why do I need another one, etc. But for adult collectors, man, every piece is important. I really like these cards, and it's not just about, the design and the bio cards and everything. So the one thing I didn't mention in Series 14, which I should have because it was like one of the best qualities, and it had nothing to do with the figures themselves. It was the card backing. So this one is a little bit more difficult, but if you actually see, there's like these little plastic, you can actually peel on the plastic back here. And again, on here, they stick, but on the Series 14 with The Undertaker, Paul Bearer, etc., you can actually just lift the card straight up. And I bought two sets. I wanted a carded set, I wanted a loose set. And if I had known that all you had to do was lift that card up, because they easily pop out of the bubble, I don't know. Me being me, I probably still would have bought two sets regardless. But if you're a mint on card collector, or you don't want to, whoever you are, at any point, I don't care how cheap you think a card is. My recommendation, guys, if you're going to open up your carded figures, try to be as neat and clean by opening the bubble as possible. Put those bubbles, wrap them up, put them in a box, store them somewhere. Create yourself an eBay account if you don't have one. You know what? Even if you're only selling it for $5, let's say, there are going to be buyers out there for just the card and bubble. I mean, look at today, you know, cards and bubbles for Hasbro and LJN. Not even talking about the complete figure, and they sell for a bundle. I had to buy a 1, 2, 3 Kid bubble and card for like $200. So I'm just saying that those things are valuable. And because it kills me whenever I see someone, as a mint on card collector, it actually destroys me every time I see someone tear open a package. One of my biggest frustrations as a collector, one of these videos I was watching, a guy had just purchased a dark-skinned Jimmy Hart from original San Francisco toy makers. In Series 1, again, for those that don't know, you had a dark-skinned version, you had a light-skinned version, and dark skin is so rare. He bought it on card, and I just saw him just grab the bubble, squeeze it, and just yank it off. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? That card and bubble alone could have been worth some money. So, back to the figures. These are probably the two best from the lot. Diesel, you guys already know. From the first Diesel released in Series 10, probably my favorite among the line. He and Braun Strowman kind of go neck to neck. You could call it 1A, 1B, or 1 and 2. I don't know. But I mean, it's basically the same exact figure. You know, different paint scheme here. So he went from Big Daddy Cool Diesel from WWF to your NWO Kevin Nash WCW color type of deal here. Still a fantastic figure. You know, very simple and easy working action. It's an incredible piece. I really like this one a lot. And Razor Ramon's Scott Hall. Again, these are all WCW, NWO guys. Just has like that Hulk Hogan, you know, Hulkaplex or Hulk Slam that you get from Series 1 of Hasbro, and a bunch of other figures from that line, and a bunch of, you know, series or a bunch of figures from this line. Because I've had figures like Hulk Hogan from Hasbro, and, you know, your British Bulldog. And I always talk about British Bulldog and Warrior and Hogan. Why? Because those are the 3 figures I had with this pose from Hasbro as a kid, and I remember using those a lot. Open hand, I don't know how many times we can say it. It's not preferable. It's not the ideal figure, but it's fine. There's really nothing wrong with this. It's a beautiful looking figure, and you know, it meshes well beautifully with the rest of the collection. So, I went off this little tangent about saving cards, and I kind of forgot a point I wanted to make, which kind of sucks, because I kind of feel like it was really important to say. And that's just me, guys. I don't know if it's dementia or whatnot. I kind of get tired of, like, doctors or whoever saying, yeah, you're too young for dementia, but, like, over the last 6 years or so, with each passing day, I feel like I lose more and more, and that's why I kind of like making as many of these videos as I do, because there might come a day where I kind of lose everything, and it's kind of scary to think about. Alright, I don't have my notebook down here, so I am going to pause the video because I want to run upstairs, grab that notebook. There's some figures I'd like to bring up just before I close the video for today. So I will be back in a split second. Alright guys, thank you. I know you guys didn't wait long because for you it's just going to go right from clip to clip, but either way, thank you for waiting. Alright, I'll stop being stupid. So, Ringside Collectibles. Again, these were their first exclusives for the Mattel Retros, at least that I know of. I don't think there's been any other releases. But here's the interesting thing. They are coming out with another 4-pack. And there are going to be more tag team sets. And they're going to consist of DX. I forgot what DX stands for. Again, that lame stuff towards the end of the 90s. I wasn't into all that junk. D-Generation X or something like that. I don't know. But I bring that up because you're going to see a couple of tag teams, which consist of, I believe, China and Triple H. And based on the pictures, one of the guys looked like Billy Gunn. At least I think that's who it is, but I can't say for sure. And there was another character, unfortunately. I don't know anything about DX. I don't know who the other members were. So I don't know who that character was. But those are 4 characters to be expecting from Ringside Collectibles in the near future. If we don't get them by, let's say, December time frame, then we're probably looking about February, March would be my estimate to expect them from Ringside Collectibles. So if you're not subscribed to Ringside Collectibles to get notifications, be on their email list, I definitely recommend setting up for that. Also, expected towards the end of this year, more than likely, we're probably looking at first quarter of 2024. You're going to get your Series 15 from Mattel Creations. Series 15, aka Wave 5. And those have some incredible additions. So, you're going to get a Big John stud. That right there is absolutely amazing. I've seen so many customizers make guys like One Man Gang and Big John Stud and SD Jones, stuff like that. And I'm like, this is incredible. My buddy Robert Jackson, he made me an absolutely phenomenal SD Jones, and I'm super glad to have that custom. But I was looking at some of the other customs that the guys were making using Hasbro figures, and you're probably looking at like $100 for like $125 for those customs. I'm like, no, loved it. I would kill to have them, but not for those prices. I couldn't do it. It looks like I'm not going to have to because we're going to get an actual, company released action figure Big John stud. So that's the one I'm most excited about. In that line, or in that series, you're also going to see a brand new Hulk Hogan. And 14 series, when you include Ringside Collectibles, 14 Mattel series plus the Ringside Collectibles series, 15 series total. You've only gotten one Hogan, but you don't have to wait too much longer to get another Hulk Hogan, because if you are a fan of the Series 5 1988 LJN release of both white and red shirt Hulk Hogan, you're going to get another similar figure with the new release of red shirt Hogan. So that one's going to be pretty awesome as well. I'm really hoping that they don't use the same body type. I hope they use something different. Like this Diesel figures, perfect. Braun Strowman, something like that. That'd be fantastic. This whole leg kicking thing, they need to stay clear of that. I mean, I'll get it, but I'm not going to cherish it the same way I would as if it were one of those figures, right? You're also going to get a referee of Muhammad Ali. And I like those little interesting additions that not many people think about. So, Muhammad Ali is going to be one. You're also going to see your first female entrant onto the roster by adding legend Wendy Richter. Now, Wendy Richter, the only figure I have of hers is the Winston Toys Eraser, and a Wendy Richter on card for the Winston Toys. You're probably looking at about $400 to $600. So, that's super awesome. And trying to think if I have her on Jack's Classic Superstars. No, I have Medulla, or not Medulla, Moolah. Is that her name? So, but referee Muhammad Ali, you're going to get the Wendy Richter figure, you're going to get a Hulk Hogan, and you're going to get a Big John stud. And along with the second release of Ringside Collectibles exclusives, you're going to get the DX tag team and another 4-set, or a dual set tag team setup. So definitely be on the lookout for those guys. And further down the line, I think I've seen figures for like Andre the Giant. I don't know if that's just a prototype or if that's actually something that's going to be doing in the near future. Hopefully it is, because Andre the Giant, man, how can you not have an Andre the Giant, at least one figure in this line, right? So there's, I think 2024, as far as collecting, is going to be a good year with new additions. With the way that my room is situated, I'm pretty much at capacity. There's really no more room for me to add anything onto the shelves or wall space or anything like that. So it's really going to be difficult for me to find ways to include or incorporate new collections. Mattel Retros, I'll still add them, but I'm going to have to probably start seeing the boxes on the floor from this point onward. The storage room that I have with the brown shelf in the back, I've got 60 figures sitting on those five tier shelves. So again, all of the figures from here on out are gonna have to sit on the floor or something because there's no place for them. The next video, recently let's see, today is, and guys, the days that I film these videos are gonna be far different than the days I post these videos. I think yesterday I just posted Series 4, so. And tomorrow I'll post Series 5, so I'm way ahead as far as video making. So, like, right now, today's date is Tuesday, October 31st. Well, how did I not know it was Halloween? So 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, I made a last bulk purchase with Random Treasures. So I acquired a ton of figures that I was missing. I think Paul Bearer and Undertaker are the only figures I didn't get. And the reason I didn't get them is because I already commissioned Eric Boyer / wrestlingwriter to make me those same exact figures last year or earlier this year. So that's the only reason I'm holding off on those. But at least with the new inclusion of figures, I'm going to be able to give you a more detailed review when I do the downfall of Random Treasures videos, as well as when I finally incorporate the Random Treasures, my favorite Random Treasures action figure tournament. And yeah, that's I might do the Random Treasures tournament before the year's over. I might start in, maybe early December, as opposed to waiting until January or February, because that's the time frame I want to do the the third annual my favorite LJN tournament. But due to the sheer quantity of those figures, and I'm not really seeing much of a difference as far as changes as far as the matchup goes, I can do a luck of the draw type of deal throughout the entire tournament. And some figures that were constantly first or second round eliminations can make it to like the fourth or fifth round. That's possible. I can still make it in a way that it's going to be a completely different tournament, but at the same time, I think most people that have subscribed to me, that have followed me, watched my videos, I think they've already seen my tournament videos, so I don't know if that's going to be anything that's going to be of interest. Of course, I make these videos for the viewers, and I try to make videos that it's going to appeal to everybody, so I don't know right now if I want to do that. If I don't start the Random Treasures tournament in December, then I might do that in January or February, and then hold off the LJN tournament until later on, or possibly right after. Again, things change all the time, but those are some of the plans I have coming up in the near future. Reviews, I still have Zombie Sailor Series 1 and 2. I did a brief Series 1 review on my cell phone, several months ago, but not like an official sit down in front of the camera, in front of the computer, talk to you guys type of review. So I'll probably knock out Series 1 in one video. Series 2 has probably twice as many figures. I'll probably knock that out in just one video though. And yeah, based on some of the videos I mentioned, this should probably take me all the way through November. Because, again, by the time you guys see this video, it won't matter. But just so you kind of know where I'm at currently, with posting a new video every 2 days, these review videos from Mattel are probably going to take me all the way through November anyways. So we're close to it. So we'll definitely have enough content to close out the year. In 2024, I am planning... I was supposed to do it this year. I failed to do so. In 2024, I'm planning on changing some things up. I'll still do collection videos, no doubt. You know, that is what the channel is mostly known for, but I also want to incorporate other things as well. So if you guys have any ideas or storylines that you'd like to see, even if it's just like a simple podcast type of episode, my buddy Jason with Blatant and Friends Wrestling, he mentioned, you know, kind of doing like a podcast video on his channel. He asked me, you know, hey, would I be interested in doing something like that? He brought the idea to me, and I'm like, you know what, that seems like so much fun. Absolutely. I've had the little sit-down kind of regular talk videos before, but I haven't done any in such a long time that I really need to start that up on a regular basis. So, guys, that's it for now. Sorry about talking your head off at the end here. Hope you did enjoy the video overall, and if you have any questions or as always, guys, if you have any comments for me, please feel free to leave them, and I always try to respond as soon as I can. Thanks, everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.